He gave his life to protect nature. But what no one expected was that, in the most solemn moment of his farewell, an old dog would appear out of nowhere, bringing with him a secret that left everyone in tears. How could a dog who had been living in the wild for years somehow know that his former owner had died, and show up exactly on the day of the funeral? Is it possible that the bond between a man and an animal is strong enough to cross distance, and even death? What happened after the dog laid down beside the body? And why did that moment leave everyone in silence, as if they were witnessing something sacred? If you watch until the end, you'll discover one of the most moving and inexplicable stories ever lived in the vastness of the African savanna. A true tale of love, loss, and a farewell that not even time dared to erase. Get ready to feel, reflect, and perhaps never look at an animal the same way again. Because some stories aren't just told, they're felt in the soul. Dawn unfolds over the Serengeti like a breath held too long. The light cuts through the mist with the quiet authority of something ancient. Wildebeests move in the distance like smoke. A giraffe leans against the sky. Dust trails behind an old Jeep, its metal rattling like memory. Inside, William Carter keeps both hands on the wheel. 76 years old. Skin cracked and darkened by decades of sun. Eyes sharp beneath the shadow of his ranger's hat. His movements are deliberate, measured. A man who no longer rushes, not because he's slow, but because he knows speed lies to you. Ethan watches him from the passenger seat. Young, green, barely 28. His notebook is open on his lap, but the pen hasn't moved in minutes. He can't look away. Behind them, in a second Jeep, Michael leans forward in his seat. 35. Stoic. William's old partner. He doesn't say much. Doesn't need to. He's seen enough to know when silence is more truthful than words. The engine hums over the earth, low and persistent. William, without looking. When I first came here, there were no fences. No roads either. Just breath and bones. That was enough. Ethan swallows. He wants to ask about the first lion William ever tracked, or the time he faced down armed poachers alone. But he doesn't. Ethan, do you miss it? The danger. William exhales softly through his nose. William, danger was never the enemy. Complacency is. You stop being alert, things die. The Jeep rolls to a stop near a dry waterhole. A herd of elephants passes slowly, their shadows stretching across the sand. One of the younger ones limps. William squints, then makes a mental note. The others wait, silent. He opens the door and steps down. Boots hit the earth like a promise. He kneels in the dirt, picks up a handful, lets it fall between his fingers. Michael, from behind. Soil's cracking faster each year. William, without turning. Because we've asked too much of it. A long pause. The kind only men who've seen things they never speak of can survive. Later, they sit beneath an acacia tree. Ethan eats quietly from a tin. Michael checks medical supplies. William just watches the land. Ethan, you ever think about leaving? About retiring for real? William turns to him slowly. Eyes like storms that refuse to break. William, you only understand the value of a life when you feel like you're guarding more than your own. Ethan looks down. The pen in his notebook starts to move again, almost without him realizing. In the distance, the wind rises. A lion calls, not a roar, but something older, deeper, like the land remembering. The camera lingers on William's profile. Strong, weathered, unmoving. He doesn't speak again. He doesn't have to. The sun isn't just above. It presses, like a weight no one asked for. The screen opens on a dirt road stretching endlessly, cracked and brittle. The earth breathes heat. Dust clings to the air like it doesn't want to fall. Acacia trees stand like skeletons, sparse, silent, brittle from waiting. William Carter grips the steering wheel with both hands, knuckles pale. Sweat glistens on his temples. His shirt, soaked at the collar, clings to his frame. His breathing is steady, But there's a strain behind each inhale, a delay before each exhale, as if his lungs are negotiating. Ethan sits beside him, watching, torn between concern and restraint. He's been told not to question William too much, but today feels different. Too hot, too quiet, too final. Ethan, you don't need to do this yourself. You should be resting, William. Let Michael handle it. No answer. Just the hum of tires over gravel. The old Jeep shakes slightly with every pothole. The steering wheel twitches in William's grip. His fingers tremble. Then finally he speaks. Voice rough. Not to Ethan. Maybe not to anyone. William. The wild doesn't wait. Pain doesn't either. Ethan falls silent. Outside the window, the world bakes. Even the birds are gone. Only heat waves dance on the road ahead. Cut to a close-up. William's hand. Callous. Firm. But twitching. Another close-up. His eyes in the rear-view mirror. Red-rimmed. Alert. But dimming. William. Barely audible. One more. Just this one. In the back seat, Michael checks the tranquilizer kit. He doesn't speak, but his glance meets Ethan's. There's something between them, unspoken, but loud. This is too much. The camera stays close on William. His breath catches again. His jaw clenches. He drives faster. Dust erupts behind them. They reach the clearing, a wide patch of dirt, bordered by burned grass. A young rhinoceros stands near a dry bush, its leg wounded, dragging slightly. Flies buzz near the wound. It grunts, uneasy. William steps out. His boots hit the earth, slower than usual. His hands hover near his hips for a second, as if deciding whether they still remember what to do. Michael, you don't have to get close. I'll dart him from here. William doesn't respond. He keeps moving forward. Each step looks deliberate, but heavy, as if memory is dragging muscle. The rhino watches. So does Ethan. He doesn't blink. Then, William falters. Just a half step. He catches himself. Straightens. But the moment hangs, suspended in the heat. Ethan, urgent now. Let us take over. Please. William turns. Eyes sharp, jaw tight. His voice, when it comes, cuts through the heat like stone breaking. William, if I stop now, I won't be able to start again. Michael darts the animal. The rhino stumbles, then rests in the dirt. William lowers to one knee beside it. His hand touches the hide. Gently, reverently. His eyes close for a second. Then they flick open. There's something in them that wasn't there a moment ago. Not fire. Not strength. Something colder. The camera pulls back. Slowly. The sun glares white. The air shimmers. The silence thickens. And still, he doesn't move. The light falls in fragments, broken by the leaves above, casting uneven shadows over the shallow pool where the rhinoceros lies, half submerged. Its breathing is slow, gentle. Each exhale stirs the water just enough to catch the light. William stands a few feet away, silent, ill. His boots sink slightly into the soft earth with every step forward, but his focus is absolute, eyes locked with the animals. Not in fear, not in caution, in reverence. He lowers himself slowly to one knee, the way one might kneel beside a grave. His eyes search the rhinos. There's no rush, no noise, only presence. And then, a twitch. His right hand drifts to his chest. Two fingers press between ribs. The air leaves him in a stunted gasp, short, almost inaudible. His face tightens. He blinks once. Then his other hand buckles beneath him. He crashes to the ground. Everything cuts. All sound disappears. All of it, except for one thing. A dull, muffled thumping. Rhythmic. Slow. Slower. A heartbeat. Not the rhinos. The camera floats, as if detached from the ground, as if gravity lost interest. William's face is turned sideways in the dirt. His eyes flutter. His mouth opens, but no sound escapes. Only silence, and that steady beat, as if something were counting down. Then Ethan's voice, distant, underwater. "Ethan! William! William, stay with me. Where are they? Where are your pills?" A hand on his shoulder, another on his face. "Michael, he didn't bring them. No, 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 he didn't bring them." Flash. A field at dawn. William kneeling beside a baby elephant, feeding it from a bottle, whispering something we don't hear. Flash. Rain slashing through trees. William pressing gauze against a leopard's side, his hand soaked in red, but calm, precise, focused. Flash. A giraffe collapsing slowly, and William sprinting through high grass, arms waving, shouting something we'll never know. Back. Ethan performing compressions. Michael trembling, hands fumbling through the medical bag. William, eyes half open, watching the sky with the look of a man remembering everything and nothing at once. Flash. A young William, years younger, standing in front of a rusted animal cage, staring at something off-screen. He looks determined. He looks like someone who decided something important that day. Back. A tear falls from Ethan's cheek, splashing on William's collarbone. The heartbeat stutters. Then, silence. Total. No thump. No breath. Just the wind brushing through the grass nearby, like the world exhaled for him. The light is thick with gold, not just warm, but heavy, like it carries memory. Dust hangs in the air, swirling gently above the dry earth of the central courtyard. Every footstep crunches. No one speaks. William's body rests on a wide hand-carved plank, the kind used long ago for preparing the land. Now, it holds something else. Something irreplaceable. Ethan kneels at his side. His thumb moves slowly over the back of William's hand, tracing the familiar ridges and calluses. It's a gesture that doesn't ask for anything. Just presence. He doesn't wipe his tears. They fall freely, unchecked, carving narrow streaks down the sides of his face, soaking into his collar. Michael, standing just behind him, lowers a flame to the base of 3 small sticks of incense. He doesn't speak. He doesn't blink. The smoke rises in soft spirals, drifting toward the sky as though it knows exactly where to go. Around them, people gather. Rangers, veterinarians, old women in linen shawls, barefoot children with tangled hair and wide eyes. Some hold flowers, simple, wild, imperfect, the kind William would have loved. One by one, the children step forward, placing their offerings at his feet. Yellow petals, red leaves, a stone painted with fingerprints. No one tells them what to do. No one needs to. They just know. From somewhere behind the camera, a voice, calm, reflective, speaks. When the soul leaves, the body weighs more, because it carries with it everything that was never said. The camera drifts slowly in a circle, capturing the faces. Some have their heads bowed. Others stare straight ahead, unblinking. A ranger clenches his jaw. A woman clutches her scarf against her chest like it might fall apart if she lets go. In the center, William lies still. But somehow, it feels like everything is moving because of him. Because of the space he left behind. Because absence, when it's real, isn't empty. It presses. It echoes. It stays. Then, without cue, the group begins to lower themselves to the ground. Knees bend. Hands fold. Chins dip. No speech. No instructions. Just silence. A silence that doesn't feel empty, but full. And then, a sound. A small child's voice, cracking slightly. "He saved my dog." Another replies. "He planted trees where the trucks had been." And another. "He remembered my name when no one else did." It continues, voices weaving softly, gently, across the circle. Not a eulogy. A chorus. Fragments of who he was, stitched together not by ceremony, but by memory. The sun slips lower. The gold deepens. And William, the man who once ran across savannas, who stitched wounds in the dark with trembling hands, who gave more than he had and never asked for anything in return, lies at the center. Still, present. More present than ever. The gate stands open. Not wide, just enough to let the morning light spill in, soft and golden, like it's tiptoeing. Dust floats in slow motion through the air, catching in the rising sun. The trees cast long shadows across the gravel path, each one stretching like fingers toward the body lying beneath the canvas sheet. Silence holds everything in place. Then, a faint sound. Pause. Uneven. Dragging slightly. No one turns at first. No one expects it. But Ethan hears it. He lifts his head, eyes swollen and raw, scanning the trail that winds through the tall grass. Something moves just beyond the light. Slow. Unsteady. Fragile. Then it emerges. A dog. Old. His fur, once pale gold, now dulled by time and dust. One ear bent permanently sideways. A limp in the rear leg that makes each step an effort. But he walks, and every person there knows him. Buddy. They don't call out. No one dares. He doesn't look at them. Doesn't pause. His focus is fixed on one thing, one presence. His walk becomes slower, heavier, as if the weight of memory is pressing into his spine. The moment he reaches the sheet, he stops, sniffs. One gentle circle. Then, without hesitation, he lies down. His head settles against William's boot. Not his chest. Not his hand. His boot, the same one Buddy used to chase when they hiked before the bones started failing. The same boot that used to nudge food his way under the table when no one else was looking. And then Buddy closes his eyes. No howl. No sound. Only Ethan now, trying, failing to hold it in. His shoulders jerk with each breath. The kind of crying that doesn't make noise until it does. Then one single sound escapes his throat, cracked open like something finally broke that couldn't be held together anymore. Michael places a hand on Ethan's back but doesn't speak. Nobody speaks. There's no need. The camera lingers on Buddy. You can see his ribs rising and falling. Slowly. Steadily. He isn't just lying there. He's waiting. The kind of waiting that doesn't ask for anything. The kind that remembers. The kind that stays. Narrator. We spent years chasing loyalty in people, only for it to return on four legs, asking nothing. The wind rustles the grass. A single bird takes flight. And the world, for one breathless second, feels like it's holding its hands over its heart. The procession begins in silence. No music. No chants. Just the sound of feet pressing into dry earth and the slow, steady creak of the old Jeep as it rumbles forward through the tall grass. The body, wrapped with care, rests in the back. No fanfare. No flags. Only weight. Not of the body, but of everything that came before it. Buddy walks beside it, step for step. His tail doesn't wag. His head stays low. Each footfall feels deliberate, as if he understands what this is, and what it means. Children from the village walk barefoot behind Ethan and Michael, their faces solemn, eyes scanning the Jeep with reverence. Elders follow, wrapped in soft cloths, hands folded, some leaning on wooden staffs shaped by time and weather. The fig tree comes into view. Massive, rooted deep in the earth, its branches spreading out like arms reaching for something no one can see. The Jeep halts. Ethan climbs down first. He's holding a small box. Simple. Unpainted. Hands trembling, not from weight, but from the effort of keeping something inside. Something that's been threatening to spill since dawn. The grave is already there. A clean rectangle carved into the soil, surrounded by rocks and wildflowers gathered by the children. Michael stands on one side. Ethan steps forward and looks around, eyes catching the people he doesn't even know by name, but who came anyway. People who heard. People who felt it. He kneels. The box in his hands trembles. Then he speaks. Not loud. Not for everyone. But the words carry. Ethan. He taught me not to fear the end. Only to fear not making the days before it count. A woman wipes her cheek. A boy holds his father's hand tighter. Even the wind, usually restless in that valley, holds back. The box is lowered slowly into the ground. Michael starts to fill the grave. One scoop at a time. No one rushes. Buddy stands by the headstone. Ill. Watching. Not guarding. Not waiting. Acknowledging. When the final layer of earth is placed, someone sets a small wooden carving at the foot of the marker. It's weathered, shaped by hand, uneven and beautiful. A symbol no one explains, but everyone seems to understand. Ethan walks to Buddy, kneels beside him, places a hand on his back. Buddy doesn't move. His eyes stay fixed forward, quiet and unwavering. And that's when it hits. Not like thunder, not like a storm, but like a sudden silence after noise. Like breath leaving a room. Because what's left behind isn't just memory. It's evidence of impact, of legacy, of a life that, somehow, still fills the space. It begins with the rain. Not the kind that roars or washes things away. Just a quiet drizzle, steady, thin, almost shy, falling over leaves, soil, skin. Each drop a reminder that the world, no matter how it grieves, keeps moving. The trees drink, the ground softens, and the green returns. Ethan moves through the wet grass with the practiced stillness of someone who no longer rushes. His boots press deep into the earth. Mud clings to his steps like memories refusing to let go. He scans the trail. Fresh tracks, kudu, maybe. Nothing urgent. He marks it down in the small black notebook tied to his belt. The ink runs slightly from the mist, but he doesn't mind. There's something sacred about details now. Behind him, Michael emerges from the thickets carrying a bundle wrapped in cloth, a rescued bush baby, trembling and soaked. He holds it close to his chest, whispering words the animal will never understand, but somehow still hears. They exchange no words. They don't need to. By day, Ethan leads. Michael heals. The routine holds. But the nights belong to someone else. Each evening, just after the light fades and the rain becomes a rhythm on the tin roof of the cabin, Buddy rises. He doesn't bark, doesn't beg, doesn't need to be told. He walks across the field, past the shed, through the narrow break in the acacias, until he reaches the grave. He circles it once, then lies down, always the same way, with his head resting on the same stone that marks the name of the man who gave him everything without asking anything in return. Ethan watches from the porch. Not hidden, not close, just far enough to give space, just near enough to bear witness. His eyes trace the curve of Buddy's spine, the slight twitch of one ear, the way his chest rises slower each night. It should be painful to watch, but it's not. It's something else. Michael joins him with 2 cups of tea, sets one down on the wooden railing without comment. The steam rises in soft swirls, vanishing into the cold air between them. Then Michael speaks. Quiet, measured, not for effect. Michael. He's not waiting for William to come back. He's guarding what's left of him. Ethan doesn't answer, but his grip tightens slightly on the cup. Out there, in the falling dark, Buddy doesn't move. And in that stillness, something invisible is kept alive. Not out of duty, but out of love. A kind of love that remembers. A kind that doesn't fade. Rain continues to fall. Somewhere, deep in the grass, a jackal howls. But Buddy stays. Because what William gave him wasn't a command. It was a place. And even in death, some places are never abandoned. The room smelled of earth and old paper. The rain had stopped hours ago, but the scent lingered in the floorboards, a quiet echo of life pressing forward. A single bulb hummed overhead, casting a pool of amber light over the wooden table where Ethan sat. The objects in front of him weren't arranged neatly.
They had been placed the way people leave things when they believe they'll be back. A shortwave radio, scratched, dented, silent. A stack of black and white photographs, some curled at the edges, all smudged with fingerprints. A notebook, leather cover, worn at the corners, pages soft as cloth. Ethan flipped through it slowly, as if turning too fast might break something inside. Outside, laughter rang out. Clear, high, full of the wild kind of joy that only children seem to remember how to make. The group was waiting for him beneath the old fig tree. They came every afternoon now, barefoot and wide-eyed, some with homemade slings around their shoulders, others carrying sticks as if they were rifles. But not to hunt, to learn. Ethan had never taught before. He thought he wasn't built for it, thought his voice was too rough, thought his past was too jagged. But William's words had softened something in him, like river water rounding a stone. He looked back down at the last page of the notebook. Just one sentence, underlined twice. You don't live forever, but you can choose something that will. He read it again, then again, until it no longer felt like a quote, but a challenge. He stood. Outside, the children spotted him and sat in a half-circle. One of the younger ones, maybe 6 years old, held a plastic elephant missing its trunk. Another had a beetle cupped gently in both palms, watching it with reverence. Ethan joined them. His voice was steady, low, and careful, not because he doubted himself, but because the words mattered. Each one had weight. He told them how elephants mourn their dead. He told them how vultures clean the bones of the land, not out of greed, but necessity. He showed them the shapes of paws in the dirt, the difference between predator and protector. He explained that not all threats look like claws. And when they asked questions, dozens, fast, jumbled, brilliant, he didn't rush to answer. He let silence do part of the work, let them connect the dots between what they saw and what they felt. Because that's where the real learning begins. From the doorway of the house, Buddy lay watching, eyes half closed, ears relaxed, breathing slow and even. He didn't move when Ethan passed by. He didn't need to. Ethan paused before going back inside. The children were still talking. One girl was tracing a lion's track in the dust with her finger. A boy whispered something to her, and she nodded like she just understood something vast and ancient. Later that night, Ethan returned to the table. The radio was still silent. The notebook still open. The sentence still there. He didn't write anything new. He just ran a thumb across the paper and let it linger. What William left behind wasn't an object, or a place, or even a memory. It was motion, a ripple that didn't end with him. And Ethan had decided not to stand still. What if you had a buddy dog in your life too? Someone who, even in silence, would feel your absence in the air, who would cross distances, years, and even the unknown, just to say one final goodbye? Today, you met the soul of William Carter, a man who gave his all for nature, and Buddy, the dog who showed the world what loyal and eternal love truly means. But now, it's your turn to look within. How many times have you ignored the small signs of gratitude life offers you? Who has been silently by your side? And maybe you've never stopped to say thank you. If you were to leave tomorrow, who would come to say goodbye? What mark would you leave on the hearts of those who knew you? William didn't have a grand, luxurious funeral, but he had something money could never buy, the respect of a community, and the silent terror of an old friend, Buddy, the dog. Tell us in the comments, which moment in this story touched your heart the most? Have you ever lived something like William and Buddy's farewell? Your experience might inspire someone to see life more deeply. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to feel it today. Maybe someone out there needs to be reminded that true love still exists in this world. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and stay with us. Because here, every story is a mirror to the soul, and an invitation to rediscover what truly matters. Are you ready to feel more? To live with more presence, more love, more truth? Then come with us, because stories like William and Buddy's change us from the inside out.